Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Less than ready I was. I hope you are more ready than I am today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday in the house. Felicia returns. That's right. Something's got to give this month. Something's got to give this month. Right? We got to do it. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing well. It is indeed Friday, and we are going to watch us some small claims court. But before we get going with that, I would love to talk about this. Yeah. Vacations. Around here, something I preach but barely practice. Guys in the truck they've been on vacation for a while around here, but of course the big guys in the truck, Credence and Mikey, are going on vacation next week. Jealous. A few rumors flying around about who they will be seeing, etc., etc. Anyways, but what I was gonna say is, at least a couple days next week. Oh, Casey Carey, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Oh, and look at this. NPC for the guys in the truck. Felicia, thank you. Thank you, NPC. Thank you, Casey Carey. We will do some daytime shows next week. Sort of like when it's like a crossover, you know what I mean? Anyways, we'll see how it goes. Just keep an eye out. Make sure your notifications are turned on and that you're subscribed. If you're here and you're not subscribed, I'd like for you to come to the front and explain yourself. How did you find yourself here? Why haven't you subscribed? Tell me what you had for dinner. Seriously, do tell me what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. Hi, Vicky. Hi, everybody. I'm looking in the chat. I'm scrolling up and down. Seeing people here and there talking all around. Oh my God. Small dish of nachos. You sound so with it. Oh, and Sour Patch Kids. More like my style. Homemade hamburger sounds pretty good, Carol. Meatball po' boy and fries. Okay. Ramen. Too sore and too tired to cook. You know, I'm dragging this out. This is that sort of symbol for like, hey, pull this, make it last longer. Because day 7, Paisley doesn't want to go to the gym. She will, but she doesn't really want to. And she's luring herself with pizza. And she's talking in the third person. Things are taking a terrible turn. For Paisley. Anyways, if you're really new here, my name is Paisley. Might be very confusing. Okay, let's get going down to Thurston County, where easements lie and neighbors fucking cry. But we're talking about small claims, so these are people bitching at each other about other things, and we love that. We love that for them.
So, good morning, Mr. Nguyen. I'm not sure how much
Oh, right. And one of these is a translator case that we will skip because I don't have the patience for it. Oh, but then this guy's there. Where did he come from? He doesn't look like Mr. Nguyen. It's a different case. Oh, Paisley. And then there's the one in the middle. Okay. Now that we've sung that out to ourselves, this is how my life works, by the way. That's how I do it. I just sing it all to myself as we go. Hi, howdy. Howdy. How are things going? I've been thinking about you. Thinking about you.
Pretty minute, ma'am. You're asking for a total of $10,000, and that's as if state the nature of the claim rental car. So how is it that Mr. Ballin owes you $10,000?
So I'll state my name first, Cody Simmons.
Okay.
On March 14th of this year, 2024, I had my kids in the car and my wife and my sister-in-law in the car. And we were headed, I had picked up my sister-in-law from the airport, and we were coming back, and we were coming through town because traffic on the freeway was bad. And we were headed, we stopped at the light at the corner of Cooper Point and Harrison, headed west on Harrison. As we went through the light, we realized we needed gas, so I started to merge over into the left lane around in front of the Domino's there by the Safeway. And when I merged, the car in front of me stopped, so I braked. At this point, this is where the impact happened. Mr. Ballin was behind me, and I know that I had plenty.
I'm sorry, did he just fucking admit to basically short merging? Like merging quickly throughout the intersection? You can't merge in an intersection. You have to be clear of the intersection. That's a rule. You know why? So you don't have fucking accidents. Okay? Oh, I got some feedback the other day, guys, that I swear a lot. Somebody, a friend of mine, tuned in and counted the swears for the few minutes that they were there, and they were impressed. It was high. I was like, well, what was I talking about? I was probably fucking pissed off about something. I was probably not swearing a majority of the time. It's just lucky that you happened to arrive and I was swearing a lot.
Distance to get over. I signaled, I did everything right. But what I heard was a screech of his tires, and I looked in my mirror, my driver's side mirror, and all I saw was him last second trying to get over and smashed his passenger front fender into my rear driver's fender, because he was trying to veer into the
Was he in a lane? You were going into the lane, and so hit the right side of his car, hit the left side of your car? Is that what you're telling me?
He was trying to go into the turning lane
To the other lane?
to go around me.
Okay, so hang on a second. So were you both trying to get into different lanes?
No, I was merging in behind him.
You were behind
I'm
him
sorry,
or in
in
front of him?
front of him.
Okay.
I was, he was behind me. I was merging in front of him. And when I braked, I heard his tires screech.
Okay.
And he started to proceed into the turning lane and try to go around me, which he wouldn't have been able to do very
But
easily.
go around like behind you with okay.
Yeah, so So
I'll hear from him in a minute, but,
Okay. left lane, right, or right lane,
right,
merge to the left lane. He slams on his brakes, goes into the turn lane.
was he going back to the lane you came from or a different lane
A
to move
different
away
one.
from it, to move away from you?
Yeah,
Got it.
but if he would have went too far, there was oncoming traffic and he would have had a head-on collision.
Oh,
But,
Okay.
and I think that's where the impact happened, at that point.
I see. And then it said $10,000 for rental car.
So
that's-
there's insurance, or there was the insurance claim, there was rental car, there was agony. I was miserable trying to figure out how I was gonna get all my DJ equipment to different weddings that I had scheduled.
He's a DJ. He's a DJ. Why is that so funny to me? My sister DJs a little bit. I know she doesn't like when I talk about her life, even though she doesn't watch this, but I try and respect that. But she gets into DJing a little bit sometimes, and I laugh about it. Actually, though, one time we had a really fun afternoon where I was at her house. I just remember this. She used to have like a nice exercise bike, like the Bowflex version of the Peloton, and I used to go there a lot and take care of the dog and work out. And I was there one day, and I was gonna do a bike ride, and she DJ'd for me for the bike ride. I laughed. Anyways, I'm laughing now again, thinking about it. DJ. She has a little, like, I don't know what it is, a little spinner thing. It's cute. Anyways, Martha's there. She doesn't notice any fucking swearing. None at fucking all. Me neither. I was like, could you cite your source? Also, by the way, Diddy's in jail. It'll be a freak out. Oh, DJing. Okay. Alright, let's just listen to his DJ woes. I mean, his case.
I didn't have the money. I had to call around, borrow cars from different people, trying to find the right size vehicle. I did have a rental car on 2 different occasions.
Okay. So I want to ask about insurance.
Yes.
Did insurance?
Insurance paid a fair amount, but I had $1,500 deductible. It was almost $15,000, excuse me, almost $14,000.
So your out of pocket is basically a $15,000 deductible.
Miss Carrie, this guy does weddings. If you know, you know. So glad to see you. This guy is a DJ. He's run into a little trouble lately, which is why we're seeing him in court. But at least it's not criminal court. It could be worse. It could be worse, and it's not somebody suing him for terrible DJing. So let's just listen. Let's just listen in, shall we?
Deductible or $1,500 deductible.
$100.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you have all the,
Well, I understand that, but I mean, if the only thing you're out of pocket, I mean, apparently I'm not
well,
hearing there
no,
was
that's
any
not the
injury.
only thing I'm out of pocket. I'm out, I had
But some of the
$500
things,
and something
so
dollars
hang on
for-
just a second.
yeah.
I'm gonna hear from him in a minute. You know, a lot of those things you're talking about, I can't compensate you for. When you're saying like, oh, it was a pain, I had to call around, it was a big thing, none of that stuff is recoverable.
Okay,
And so just, you need to know that.
okay.
So, but go ahead, I'll let you finish, and then I'll hear from.
So I had $1,500 in deductible, and then I had over 500. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. over $500 in, uh, uh, well, one of the rentals, and then the other rental was like, I want to say $300. So that's $2,300 there, but I was hoping,
Was that your insurance company who
yes.
compensated that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I hate that my insurance company claims that I'm responsible for this.
Okay.
They didn't do a liability investigation. I know that that's not. But I feel like getting this judgment today, I will be able to present it to them, and they will have to make things right. So,
Okay.
let me hear
from Mr. Ballin. Mr. Ballin, could you you need to unmute first of all? And then you're still muted. So if you're to say something, I wouldn't even be able to hear you. So go ahead and activate your microphone.
There we go.
You swear and affirm the information you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down. Go ahead, I'll hear from you. What's your version of what went on out there?
Okay, I'm reading from a statement that I wrote beforehand about this. So here it goes. I was in the left-hand lane at the red light heading west at the corner of Harrison and Cooper Point Road. When the light turned green, I proceeded forward, accelerating to the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. Just as I was passing Domino's, the plaintiff's car started crossing over into my lane. I attempted to get into the middle turn lane to avoid his vehicle while hitting brakes at the same time. As a result, the rear driver's side fender of the plaintiff's car hit the passenger side front fender of my car. We both got out of vehicles to assess our damages. Dispatch told us we could move our vehicles to the parking lot next to Safeway. When the plaintiffs, and according to the police report, that the police wrote down his statement that the plaintiff said, in quote, he did see my vehicle, or that he did see my vehicle, but believed he had enough room to conduct his lane change. The officer told the plaintiff that he was at fault, according to his own statement, and told me that I was free to leave. So I left.
Okay. How much damage was sustained by your car?
I'm not sure the exact dollar amount, but USAA, my insurance, claimed that it was total.
I see.
There was a part that was damaged that was easily could be repaired, but they would have to pull an engine out because the frame was in the way of the part that got bent, was in the way of the part they could get to. And the only way that the automotive repair people could get to it was they would have to pull the engine. And USA declared it a total at that
Got
point.
it. So
Oh my god, that's gotta be the funniest thing I've fucking heard in my entire fucking life. Oh, Miss Carrie. Can you imagine if you put on the wedding invitation? Please note, if you've received this invitation on blue paper, you are invited but not wanted. Come at your own peril. You'll be in a separate section. I love it. Oh, I love it. Mallet did say all invited. I love that you're people of your word. It's great. I will happily come. We'll make sure I can come from Canada. I'll be there. I'll be there. Stop singing.
I'll give you the final word. Anything you'd like to say there, Mr. Simmons?
at the end of his statement, he said that the police, the officers said I was at fault. The officers, and this is, I know it's hearsay and I don't have proof in front of me.
Well, the rules of evidence, I mean, I said, this is small claims.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's small claims. There are, attorneys are not allowed. And so for a reason,
yeah,
you kind of as an offshoot of that, the rules of evidence don't apply in small claims. I know what he said was hearsay, but I still heard it. I did get to decide how much weight I want to give it.
yeah.
And so you wanted to say something, go ahead, I'll hear from you.
Did you receive my evidence and my, the witness?
I did.
Statement? The witness that was there, that saw everything that happened, he was scared to come up. He was just a kid, young guy. By kid, I mean in his early 20s. But he was nervous to come up because he had a warrant out for his arrest and he didn't want him giving a statement resulted in him getting arrested. And he didn't know that that's not the way it would work. So he came up afterwards and I reached out to them and he's currently incarcerated for that. I reached out to his mother, who was also there, and he's incarcerated for that warrant that he had. So I was hoping he would be here with me today, but fortunately.
So, here I've reviewed, I did review that. I reviewed what you've submitted. I heard from you. I got your version of what went on out there. I heard from Mr. Ballin. He told me from his perspective what went on out there. I'm very familiar. I've lived in Olympia my whole life, so I'm very familiar with that area. I know exactly where you're talking about. One thing that I want to talk to you about, Mr. Hang on, we're going to mute the breakout room. And then Marnie, are we going to trial on that also? I didn't hear you. Yes, we're going to trial?
Yes, Your Honor. You're going to try.
Okay.
They're going to trial.
Thank you.
All righty.
And so, Mr. Ballin, or not Mr. Ballin, Mr. Simmons. So I've reviewed all that. So I'm familiar with that. I heard what you had to say. I heard what Mr. Ballin had to say. When people come to court, it's not necessarily, doesn't start, like right in the middle where you have, and then you start putting things in both sides to determine who's at fault or who wins or what have you. The plaintiff carries with it what's known as a burden of proof. You have to prove by a certain standard that, what you say is what actually went on. And in criminal cases, I'm sure you probably heard this, they're required to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And on civil cases, which this is a civil case, it's a small claims, the standard of proof is by a preponderance of the evidence. Is it more likely than not that Mr. Ballin's at fault in this particular case? I did hear what you said about your insurance company, which is not binding on me. I heard what Mr. Ballin said about what the police officer opined, which is also not binding on me. I read that written statement from someone, which who didn't appear, and you told me why he didn't appear, but none of this stuff is binding on me. But I have to look at everything and just think, have you carried your burden of proof? Have you shown by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Ballin is at fault? And I'm going to find that, you haven't done that, because based on what you've said, based on what Mr. Ballin said, and, the anecdotal reports from both sides, again, you just don't get there to the standard where you've satisfied your burden of proof, where you've shown to me that Mr. Ballin is actually at fault here. And so I'm going to decide for the defense. And then this case will be a defense verdict, and there won't be a judgment entered, and the case will be closed out. You understand all that? I understand you disagree with it. I get that. That's the nature of the business. Someone's going to be walking out of here unhappy one way or the other. But given what I'm required to do and the way I look at evidence and combine with the burden, that's going to be my ruling here today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
The
Hang on,
fact-
don't leave yet, just Mr. Ballin.
The fact
Yeah.
that he hit me doesn't make any,
Well, see, that's kind of the issue. I can't say if he's saying, you hit him, you went into the lane and he had to, jump on the brakes. If he hadn't jump on the brakes, he probably, again, from his point of view, and you, Mr. Ballin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from I'm hearing from him, you went into the lane and he's like, oh my gosh, I gotta swerve to, this guy's gonna hit me, or I gotta get out of this lane. And then he jammed on the brakes and tried to move at the same time, was unsuccessful, and he clipped you on the rear. So you're saying, well, he hit me. Mr. Ballin's saying, no, he didn't hit me. I didn't hit him. He hit me. He didn't give me the room on there when, and again, that's, your statement says, well, I thought I had enough room. Well, it turns out, maybe you didn't. And so that's the issue right there. I can't necessarily make the finding that he was the one who hit you, or because based from his point of view, you hit him. You see, am I understanding your testimony correct there, Mr. Ballin? And I know how you feel about this, and I know, what your position is, but I kind of have to look at this from both sides. And like I said before, you carry a burden of proof in these cases, and, even in small claims. And that's what I'm deciding with regard to this case. But go ahead. If you wanted to say something else, you can, but I just want to make sure, Mr. Ballin, everyone's present when everyone's saying anything.
I did not hit him. He rear-ended me. The impact was from him. From his car hitting my car. I know that I had plenty of room.
Okay. So again, that's the decision I've made. I'm going to stick with it, but that's what's going to happen here today. If you want a copy of this, if this is the order that said following trial, the case is dismissed, you can have it. Mr. Ballin, you're free to get it off the district court website if you wish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. And Mr. Nguyen, you can come back into the courtroom with your attorney, or no, with the interpreter, my mistake.
No, we'll do it.
Yeah, she'll make a copy of it, and then you can get that, then you're free to go.
Maybe we'll all be fooled and the Gap shirt guy is going to be the interpreter.
And then, you can be seated.
Yes,
Oh gosh, another questionable wall hanging.
Okay, so Ms. Couts, you're there on the Zoom call.
Does the Gap exist anymore?
Give me just a moment, please.
Yeah, fair enough, Judge. Check into that, please, because that's important. We need to know if the Gap exists anymore, or if this is all vintage. Can somebody fact check
Okay,
that,
so I
please?
can't see that they have a table of evidence here that won't, oh, there it is, picture of plaintiffs.
He's looking at their jeans now. He realizes they have an online presence only. At least in my city.
Okay, so this appears to be another accident, auto accident. And are you going to interpret simultaneously?
Oh, yes, yes, Your Honor. Hoàn thành việc đồng thời.
And give me just a second. I saw that there was a video submitted. Who submitted that video?
Em mới nộp bản đồ.
Em nộp.
Okay. So Mr. Nguyen, uh,
We submitted a video. It wasn't of the actual accident. It was just where it happened.
Em
Oh,
chỉ nộp giấy tờ.
sorry, he backtracked. He only submitted the paperwork. Yeah.
okay.
Không nghe kỹ.
Okay, give me just a moment, Mike. I need to get my computer situated. Is that just basically of the bus going by?
Yeah, that's where the accident occurred. That was after the fact.
Nhưng mà sau sự việc nó xảy ra.
Mr. Nguyen, could you raise your right hand, please?
Phải lên em, giơ tay lên.
Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Có gì không?
Có.
I do.
You can put your hand down. And tell me what happened out there. This is another accident?
Well, which one? You asking him first?
Yes,
Oh,
Mr. Nguyen, I swore him in. That's who I want to hear
Oh,
from.
sorry,
first.
yeah. Không, kể lại đi, kể chuyện xảy ra như thế
Có
nào.
cần đứng không?
Không cần.
And he's the plaintiff,
Rồi, nói đi, nó giống như là kể lại cho bà bồ giải.
so I need to hear from you first.
Nghe, nói đi.
And as a plaintiff, you have the responsibility, you have a burden of proof.
Mình phải có trách nhiệm dẫn chứng nha, giờ cứ nói đi.
Dạ.
And so I'll hear from you,
Rồi, nói trước đi, nói sơ trước nha.
and then I'll hear from Ms. Couts.
Nói đi.
Cái người con trai của cái cô này á là đụng vô xe tôi.
Nói đi.
Và cái người đụng á, là không có bảo hiểm xe. Bảo hiểm xe á, là của cái người mẹ. Cho nên á, là bảo hiểm xe họ không có bảo hiểm bên cái người đụng á, là họ không có bồi thường cho tôi. Cho nên á, là tôi yêu cầu á, là bây giờ cái bên đụng xe cũng như bên mà chủ xe á, là phải có trách nhiệm bồi thường cho tôi.
Yeah, so what happened was I was hit by the son of this lady who was driving her car, but her son's name is not on her car insurance. So therefore, their insurance refused to compensate me for my vehicle damages. So what I'm asking for is for this lady to compensate me for repair my car.
Tell me what happened. What happened with the accident?
Rồi, cái sơ tai nạn xảy ra như thế nào?
Cái em chạy ở bên lên trái ở bên trong, cái họ là cái người đụng á, là họ chạy lên phải bên ngoài, nhưng mà họ chạy sau lưng cái xe bus á, rồi tức là họ không có giữ khoảng cách với xe bus. Khi mà xe bus tấp vô cái bến xe bus á, thì một là họ đâm vô xe bus, cho nên họ mới lách qua bên lề bên trái, đụng tôi văng vô bên lề.
Yeah, so I was on the inside lane and there was a vehicle passing by. I think to avoid hitting the bus, it swerved and hit my car.
You were, okay. And what's it? So Ms. Couts, who's on the Zoom call there, she did not drive the car?
Thì cái bà này không có lái xe phải đúng không?
Đúng.
That's right.
And what's the son's name?
Hỏi con trai
Maki.
Marky, yes.
Got it. Did your insurance pay for any of this? Did you get covered from your insurance?
Bảo hiểm em có bồi thường gì không? Có không thôi?
Không.
No.
And then so Ms. Thank you.
Cảm ơn.
I'm going to hear from Ms. Couts.
Bên kia kể nha.
Could you unmute, please?
Yes,
Is your son present?
yes.
Okay.
Present.
Hi there.
Hey,
So could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. What happened out there?
So we were at a red light and the light turned green. I started driving and the city bus started to like pull out of the stop and start coming into my lane. So I swerved and in the like panic, I didn't check my mirror and swerved over and hit him.
So you, basically what Mr. Nguyen is telling me is kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Does he have a license? Trisha, it's not your turn yet. Christopher, I love you too. Oh wait, there we go. That's perfect for you.
How old are you?
I'm 36, Judge.
19 or 20, sorry.
How old?
20.
Did he just say 13 first? Hold on, we gotta back that up. Did he literally just make a classic? Did he just say that? What the fuck? We're going back. Let's listen carefully. How? What? 19 then 20, we hope, but, and he, I mean, he don't look 13. But you know what? He could be.
So you, basically what Mr. Nguyen is telling me is kind of what happened.
Yeah.
How old are you?
19 or 20, sorry.
How old?
20.
Okay.
Can we ask the interpreter to say the number? I'd like to know what he interpreted.
So you're asking for $7,000. How can you break that down for me? What,
Kể lại nó giống như kể 7.000 phân chia như thế nào, nói lại đi.
Em yêu cầu là 7.000 với cái lý do là em đã có hai cái estimate của cái chỗ sửa xe, cộng với thí dụ nếu mà họ bồi thường cho em để em đi sửa xe đó, thì cái xe đó họ nói là phải sửa trong 2 tuần, thì trong thời gian đó em phải thuê xe để em đi làm, cộng với cái thời gian mà em đi lên đi xuống đem theo cái điều kiện này, cho nên là em mới yêu cầu một cái mức giá là 7.000,
Yeah,
nghĩa
so,
là hợp lý.
yeah, the way I came up with the 7,000 is based on 2 estimates, and it's broken down into 2 main portions. The repair portion is 5,000, and the future rental is 2,000, which has not occurred yet because it's going to take about 2 weeks, and it's going to cost me about that much, 2,000 during 2 weeks to repair that vehicle.
So I have the,
Bây giờ đó,
the cost of repairs I have is that $5,948.68.
5.900 mấy không? Yes.
And then the rental, that's just, you're kind of speculating as to what that's going to be. Is that
Nói
correct?
trước thời hỏi chừng cỡ đó không? Yes.
Okay. So, ma'am, going back to the Couches, anything you'd like to, either of you like to say?
Tiền sửa 5.900 tiền. Sao cái? Không có kỹ.
I understand like how he has his estimates and everything, but his car was still drivable. And I'm not sure why his insurance couldn't pick it up, and then we would be responsible for his deductible.
Bà nói cái gì? Ông nói tại sao bảo hiểm không chịu trả thì không trả.
That's a good question.
Em muốn trả lời nói 1 triệu 2 triệu không có muốn nói gì không?
Tòa hỏi em cái gì?
Bà nói vậy đó, em có muốn trả lời như thế nào? Chỉ trả khấu trừ ra. Em nói tại sao phản đối? I don't agree with that.
Well, okay.
Well, international driver's licenses are recognized in the United States, so for a short amount of time, anybody is legally allowed to drive in the United States with an international driver's license, even if they don't speak English. But you know, I don't know. I think the problem here is if he's uninsured. That's really the issue. Like, you have to be a licensed insured driver, and then that's sort of covered by all this stuff. That's the danger you take when somebody uses your car that is, you know, that you know about it, right?
But the question was, what's your insurance going to do with this?
Nhưng mà tại sao không đồng ý?
Tôi không đồng ý bởi vì á, là bả đụng con của bả đó, đụng tôi thì bả phải có cái trách nhiệm bồi thường cho tôi, hoặc là bảo hiểm của bả bồi thường cho tôi, chứ không phải cái phần bảo hiểm của tôi phải bồi thường cho tôi. Với lại á, là bảo hiểm của tôi chỉ 1 triệu cũng không có ai đền cho tôi được.
Well, the ultimate responsibility to repair my car is her son or the mother or their insurance, because it's their
He didn't
fault.
have insurance, apparently.
Furthermore, I have only one-way coverage on my insurance.
So you don't have uninsured motorist insurance?
Chỉ 1 triệu phải không? Đúng.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I do not. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Ms. Couts?
Yes, but I don't understand how the estimate could be that high. I don't believe his van is even worth that much.
Giá cao quá, theo giá trị gì vậy? Cái đó phản đối ba kệ.
A dream come true, that would be for me. But it's Friday night alone. Actually, I'm going to the gym. I won't be alone. There'll be a lot of people there. No, he'll never collect it. He should have uninsured motorist insurance. She should have his kid insured. They should all.
Give me just a
shoulda,
minute.
coulda, didn't. Well, what do you think is going to happen here? Do we think he'll get his money order? At least the right to ask. I'm thinking of the noodles that I made in the recent past. I want to eat my noodles soon. Could you hurry up? Why can't the judge hurry up? Judge, I'm singing a noodle song. I'm singing a noodle song. And it can only go fine for so long before it's just terrible. Oh God, I thought it was frozen. I got a guy for that. I don't look at a book. I got a guy for
Just doing a
that.
little checking on some things.
Đang kiểm soát kỹ thuật em. Kiểm soát giá trị
I
xe.
call him up. I say, hey, how much for this truck? Oh, fuck. That's usually how those phone calls go. Oh, no. I did not see that loud. I did not. And yes, we have determined we think it is a bird, but a stuffed bird. She's barely had to speak. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, it was Pac-Man. What kind of car did he have? That is the question. I thought it was a van. 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 It was a van that was for all the DJ equipment, but that was the last case. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. NPC, thank you so much for your lovely gifted memberships. 5 people. Now Miss Carrie has the big D again. She loves it. No worries, Mallet. We're not stepping on any toes. Unless that's what we want. You know how we don't kink shame around here. Anyways, thank you again, NPC. Judge, can you make a decision, please? I have seen you mull over stalking cases for less time. I don't know, but he's been missed. I miss him quite a bit. But I do want to say something about that. Actually, and when people come and go, and that's the way that YouTube is, and we like it, and it's okay, like, it's good that we can just scurry around to other parts of the interwebs, and then we can come back, and it's okay. It's a-okay. I know we worry sometimes about people, but it's generally, I know this sounds sad, but it's generally just probably something I've said or done, like, and then just, or their life is just in a different direction for a little bit, and then they come back. And that's okay. That, like, who did that happen with? I fucking swore to God. Viking. Web Productions. I thought Viking was dead. And then like 8 months later, out of the blue, and still all randomly pops up, which is great. So if you're watching this and you used to come in and chat but you don't anymore, please know that you're missed. We miss you. Come on down and say hi anytime. We'd love to see your names again.
So where's the car now?
Xe đâu rồi?
Ở phía ngoài sân.
I'm driving. It's out in the parking lot.
Okay. Are there pictures in here?
Em có chụp hình gì không?
Yeah, and that's
No.
really it.
Nhưng mà em có chụp lại nhưng mà còn muốn em có thể show cho nó coi.
Don't mention ice cream.
Điện
I
thoại
want
hả?
it so bad.
Well, I have the pictures on my phone.
Okay. So how bad was the accident?
Đụng có nặng không?
Đừng hư cái cửa với cái bumper với xung quanh đó.
The door was damaged, some damage to the bumper, and then some surrounding spots.
Um, So with regard to the accident itself, I will find that the younger Couts, how do I say your name? Is it Maki? Am I saying that correctly?
It's Makai.
Maki is at fault based on listening to the testimony from both Mr. Nguyen as well as Mr. Couts. He's presented documentation of what it would cost to fix. A little less than $6,000. So a judgment is going to be entered in that amount against Maki Simmons only. Or Maki Couts Simmons, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maki Couts Simmons only, not against Shauna. There's no judgment against her. I'm not going to award for any rental because that's speculative.
Không đồng ý với tiền thuê nha. Rồi nó lộ nó thôi nha. Rồi tao biết nó phải đền nha. Đền cái tiền thuê xe.
We never got to see his estimates.
They're in, okay.
They're in the file.
They're in the file, yes. I mean, they were there a long time ago.
Okay.
And so a judgment will enter against, again, Maki Couts Simmons, not against Shauna. Principally 5,948.
Theo đánh giá nha, năm 2009 ông dựa theo coi đơn chứ không phải coi em.
$50 filing fee.
Tiền hồ sơ 50.000.
Total judgment is $5,998.68. And I'm not asking, but I hope Mr. Couts Simmons has insurance. Get it, and again, don't answer that question one way or the other, but you need insurance before you get behind the wheel. And that's it for today. And you can get a copy of this off the district court website. I can give you a copy of it here today.
Được cái
Okay.
chút xíu ra ngoài giải thích thêm nha, nó rất là phức tạp chứ không dễ đâu nha. Giờ em hỏi ông.
You're free to leave there, ma'am. Both of you are free to go. Ms. Perkins and Ms. Manson can come on the Zoom call.
Em xong rồi cái chút xíu ra ngoài nói chuyện thêm nha.
Sir, you can stop. The weed is called
You're welcome.
jet fuel pie.
So Ms. Perkins, this case didn't settle either.
That's correct.
Is this the, if I remember right? This is the paddleboard
Yes.
incident? Okay.
Oh, West Coast life. The paddleboard incident. Do you know, I've heard described to me at least 6 times things labeled the paddleboard incident. I shit you not. I'm fucking not joking. Does everybody know what a paddleboard is? Oh God. I once worked for a guy and he wanted to have a portable paddleboard business, renting paddleboards, portable blow up paddleboards to people and driving them to them. I was like, okay. Anyways, so paddleboarding, what do we think happened? Do we think that she got a bad board or screwed out of an experience, or my guess is booked something but didn't get to do it and then didn't get her money back. Didn't get her money back. Right? It does. There you go, Bev. Write that one down. We should write a short story about it. All right. Also, where I live, by the way, you guys, there's something called a car share co-op. There's multiple different ones of them, and you can be in a car share co-op and pay very much less than you would to rent a car. It's a lot more accessible than you think. Especially so you can, and they have all different kinds of cars and trucks and vans and stuff. So I would urge you to look into that in your neighborhood. See, it's a small city type thing because there's parking spots all over the place, and so you can go pick it up at a random spot and then drop it off, and there's like key fobs or something. Anyways, Djibouti cat. I like it, Djibouti cat. Yeah, careful about saying Beetlejuice too many times. But let's get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for a West Coast case. If I ever heard one, I will be here to translate for you. Don't you worry. The Thurston County legal hippie language cannot be that far from my Vancouver Island hippie language.
Okay. So Ms. Simmons, could you raise your right hand, please?
Simmons Perkins?
Ms. Perkins, my mistake. I'll hear from the plaintiff first.
Okay, yes.
I just had a series of Simmonses.
Immediately, double-barreled last name. You said it wrong, Judge. This is the fucking West Coast vibe that I'm talking about. That's exactly what I was waiting for. Wrong name. Say it right. I don't care.
This is the paddleboard
Yes.
incident? Okay. So Ms. Simmons, could you raise your right hand, please?
Simmons Perkins?
Ms. Perkins, my mistake. I'll hear from the plaintiff first.
Okay, yes.
I just had a series of Simmonses. And so, Ms. Perkins,
Yes.
you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. And so go ahead, once you submitted a fairly detailed written statement. And, but go ahead and once you run through that, and you don't need to hit all the details, but just basically tell me what happened there.
I was traveling eastbound on 101 when the defendant's paddleboard came loose from her car, went airborne, and hit my car. We stopped.
Wasn't even on my radar. Wasn't even on my radar, but definitely a West Coast accident. Please, people, we're doing fine, but secure your paddle boards. Secure your extraneous items, okay? Tighter than you think. And that includes your little sluts. Tie them tighter than you think. Also, here's a little tip for if you're a little slut. Don't tell them when you can get out of your restraints, or else they'll tie them tighter.
Exchanged information. She said she did not want to go through insurance, but that she would pay for the damages, which we thought at the time it looked as if the car was pretty badly scuffed up and the mirror was damaged. It had popped right out. Once I got to my mechanic back in Seattle, he was able to pop the mirror back in, but he noticed that the front quarter panel had been pushed in. And so from there, I went to my body shop. I got an estimate, which I texted to Joanna. She said that she would send me a check for the $2,200. She didn't do so. I waited for about 3 weeks. And then she said, well, go ahead and put it in the body shop and I'll have them call me. I'll give them my credit card information. And I let her know. I checked with the body shop to make sure it was okay and let her know that they do impose something like a 3% penalty surcharge, for using a credit card. And she said that would be fine. And then she said, let me know when it's in the shop. I'll send them a check the day before it's through. And she just didn't. She just hasn't paid.
And did you pay, ma'am?
Oh, yes, I paid for it. And I've submitted to the court an invoice, and I actually did it in 3 pages. The very first page shows a copy of the receipt. And then the second page on the invoice from the body shop, I flipped up the receipt so that you could see the vehicle information. The third page then is the second page of the estimate and the receipt for the work.
That's at Seatown in Seattle?
Exactly.
And was that the total is 2,198 and 78?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Manson, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
What's your version of what went on out there?
What happened was, yes, my inflatable paddleboard, it's the first time I had one, came off. It was secured, but it went airborne. It's inflatable. So it went off and floated through the air, my understanding, to the median where I had to retrieve it after after we had pulled over and we exchanged information, and I had seen what the damage and taken pictures of what the damage to Ms. Perkins' vehicle was. We made sure each other were okay. We inspected our vehicles. We just had each of us had a dog in the car in the back seat. And it appeared at the time of the damage, which is why I took photos, that there were just some scratches and scuffs to the paint. On the driver's side, mirror popped out. Mirror didn't break, it just popped out and was popping back in. I provided her with some masking tape and helped her secure the mirror until she could get to a shop to have the mirror pop back in.
Ma'am, your track record for securing items is really shitty right now. Didn't you just tell us that you left an inflatable paddleboard inflated and drove down a highway? You drove down the highway with it inflated, and then you have a dancing pair. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So, seriously, why should we trust you that you were able to secure her items to her car? What the fuck? Streamlabs! Streamlabs is in the back. He's getting high again. He gave me 1 full week of good behavior, but then Friday came along. And he's fucked off to somewhere. He hasn't even shown up. Streamlabs, play the music. Dude. Did I miss it? I don't think I did. Also, masking tape is not appropriate to secure items to a moving vehicle. Tips. Tips. Don't ever say this is not an educational channel.
At that time, we both thought the damages would be no more than a couple of $100. And so I didn't see the need to use my insurance. I have insurance, but my deductible is, higher than what I thought the repairs would be. And so I offered to pay her directly when she got the cost estimate for the repairs. For those repairs that we both observed the day from the accident. Ms. Perkins did provide an estimate and repair that were not observed on the day of the accident, and I respectfully I'm asking the judge to allow for damages not to exceed more than a couple of $100 plus court costs as appropriate, given the damages that were observed on that day were not what it appears to me was put in for repair for the vehicle. So that's what I want to say. I also want to say that I was not being intentionally non-responsive to Ms. Perkins. My father passed away. I just buried him last week. I've been out of the state since all of this month. I'm still out of the state right now. I'm making my way back up through California. My dad was buried in Nevada. In June, after this accident, in May, I found out that my dad was having health issues. I went with my family to visit him in June. So I was really have been out of pocket for the past couple of months, dealing with that issue and a myriad of other texts and emails that I've been getting, dealing with that situation. So that's my perspective on the situation. I do feel partially, responsible for some of the damages, but it looked to me when I look back on it, when I had a second to do so this week, that the damages were different.
Miss Perkins or me, Mikey? Oh, gracing us with your presence on your valuable vacation time. We're having a grand old time tonight, though. These people are fighting over an inflatable paddleboard that got loose. She's talking about it like it's a fucking dog. Oh, jeez. And I got out the excuse counter mid rant there. She's up to 8, I think, in quick succession. Who to believe? What will the judge do?
From what had occurred on that day, Your Honor.
All right. And looking through the text, at one point you said you were going to send a check for $2,200.
Yeah, and I thought it was 220. I may have made too much zeros, but again, I was dealing with a lot of other stuff at that time. I was trying to be responsive, but I wasn't fully paying attention to everything that was going on this front.
Okay, well, again, I reviewed what had been submitted. I've reviewed listened to the testimony as Ms. Perkins, Ms. Manson. I've heard to you. First of all, very sorry about your father. That's an incredibly difficult situation to go through. So I feel very badly for you for that. But with regard to the case here, liability isn't really disputed. I did review the pictures and, body shops are expensive. They just are. And I know that from personal experience in terms of, a scratch, even just a little scratch is a lot more than anyone would think. Based on, I've reviewed the invoice submitted by Ms. Perkins from the Seatown Auto Works. And I'm going to enter a judgment in her favor in the amount of $2,198.78, which was the cost of repair.
Can I ask a question, Judd?
Yes.
Did you get the information and the pictures that I forwarded to the court this morning?
Yes.
Okay.
This morning, if they came in this morning, I probably haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, they came in.
I saw there were pictures there that were included in the text chain. I did see those.
Yeah, no, the text changed when we were in mediation room?
No, there was a text, submitted on September 13th. And I think this was submitted by Ms. Perkins. There was text between you and Ms. Perkins.
Yeah.
And in there was some scratches. There was some pictures in that. Those were the pictures that I was referring to. I did see those. Appears to me that they were sent to you from her.
Yes, but they were sent days after the accident. So the pictures
Miss Carrie, I get to be in the wedding party, right? I'll come from Canada. If Creed and Mikey are marrying you, I want to be in the wedding party. Yay!
Yes.
To the court were the pictures taken the day of the accident, right on the day of the accident is the pictures I sent to the court this morning with an email with testimony that I've given right now. And I had asked the court clerk if they had forwarded that to the judge, and they said that they.
So hang on, just stop, ma'am. Just stop, ma'am. Can we see it? Do we get those? Okay, they did not make it into the case file. Can you put them in now? I'll look at them now. Let me know when they're in there.
Oh my gosh, we all got invited to a wedding today on this Friday night. I wonder if Mallet knows that you come with such a big family, Miss Carrie. I love it. Also, I want tacos.
Okay.
Super sweet. how many big names are coming to this. um, also, let her decide. She gets to plan her beautiful fucking wedding however she wants. So I don't know where she's going to get married. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to unduly influence her to get married in North or South Carolina so that it's easy distance for you and Creed. But, you know.
Okay, so there were 3 pictures,
What?
Ms. Manson?
Yes.
Okay, and those pictures are
They were
different from the pictures that were submitted on that, okay.
Exactly. Those pictures were taken the day of the accident,
Right.
Your Honor, just on that day.
Okay, hang on just a minute. But I guess my point is that that doesn't mean the pictures of a different place that you received later.
Later,
That doesn't mean it wasn't there. You don't have the pictures of that. See what I mean?
Vacation Mikey loves
So, I mean, if you have a picture, show me she's submitting some scratches. Hang on just a second. I got some pictures from Ms. Perkins on the text that was submitted on that text chain. And they're different places from the pictures that you submitted, right? So when you submit these pictures of what were taken apparently at the time, that doesn't mean these other locations wasn't necessarily there. You just didn't take a picture of it. I mean, are you saying that this is something that showed up afterwards?
No, I'm saying that the pictures that I submitted, Your Honor, were taken on the day of the accident. And
I know that.
And
I know
they,
that.
and the section that that's in contention here is the same area of the vehicle that she's indicating that she had a dent in. So that's what I'm saying. So there is a correlation between the picture that I took on the day of the accident of the area that she has indicated and the picture she submitted of the same area, but it has a totally different damage level, is what I'm saying.
Okay. So again, I'm just going through this text chain here. You know, before the fur picture, it says, "Hi, Trisha, can you send me the estimate?" That's from you. Then she shows my picture only shows superficial scuffing on the driver's side and the front mantle and the mirror popping out. Then she sends you a picture, 2 pictures. Here's another photo, and then you respond, "Hi, Trisha, thanks for the clarification. Did you send me the email yet?" She responds, "Good morning. I sent it day before yesterday, or at least I thought I did. Give me a few minutes, I'll check." Nothing from those 2. Then you send, apparently the email was sent or the text was sent with the PDF. Your response was, "Okay, that works. I'll send you a check for 2,200. And that PDF, I assume, had the the bill of 2,100. So I guess, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me when you get a bill for 2,100, the very next text from you says, "Great," or 2,198 or whatever that was. Yeah, 2,198. So essentially 2,200. You know, then the next says, "Okay, that works. I'll send you a check for 2,200. I mean, that wouldn't make sense to me that you would say, "Okay, that works. I'll send you a text for 220. I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Do you see my point there?
I do, Your Honor, and again, all I can say is that I was dealing with a lot of other texts at that time regarding my dad's health, and I was not paying attention. I was just trying to ameliorate the situation, not looking at my interests at that time with respect to whether or not that was reasonable. So that's all I can say in my defense is I was not paying attention to what was going on and what was being advanced to me with respect to the real damages that my paddleboard incurred versus, you know, what was actually the case on the day of the accident.
Well, and again, based on, I've now reviewed the pictures that you've submitted. I've listened to your testimony. I've listened to Ms. Person's testimony. I've reviewed all the text chain that went back and forth between the 2 of you. And my decision, as I stated earlier, is going to stand as it is. And again, it'll be the principal
I'm
judgment,
sure that can be
be
arranged.
2,198 and 78. There'll be a $50 filing fee. Total judgment, $2,248.98.
Paddleboarding is getting expensive.
And that'll conclude the case for today.
Thank you.
You can get copies of this off the Thurston County District Court website.
Thank you.
They both are free to go.
Free to
Thank you.
go, free to go, free to go. We're all free to go on Friday. I love all of our little fun that we've all been having here. Miss Carrie planning a wedding. We're here for you, Miss Carrie. We are having Mikey's putting in his order for his in-room masseuse with small hands. Again, I'm sure this could be arranged. I hope that everybody had a nice evening. We laugh a lot here. There's a lot of inside jokes, but we have a good time. We're sipping on gin and juice. No, but seriously, Mikey, have a really good vacation. We love you, but we want you to have a good time. We know you work really hard, so do just take the time and enjoy it. Would ya? Would ya? Because, the week goes by so fast, and then you'll be back to work, and then who knows when your next vacation will be? Who knows if it will be Miss K's wedding? Ugh, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Is that the going rate? Inflatable? Inflatable. Good fucking God. I can't even read today. Inflatable paddleboard dreams to you all. I love you guys so much. Remember that. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. I said goodbye.
Ways down red.